Hey there, I've got a question for you. Do you like milk? Well, even if you don't, I do. Statistically, so do your parents and grandparents and their parents and Fidel Castro. But do you know what it's made of? Why are some people lactose intolerant? Can you beat lactose intolerance? Did you know that the entire dairy industry has been crumbling for years? Well, I got curious and I needed something to put my time into, so here we are. Apologies in advance. Also, a lot of animals produce milk, so making sure we're all on the same page. When I say milk for this entire video, unless otherwise specified, I'm referring only to cow's milk. Anyways, let's all get a good understanding of. So, milk is 87% water, with the remaining 13% being a mix of carbohydrates, minerals like calcium, potassium, phosphorus, and vitamins like B2, A, D, and B12. Vitamins A and D are added for two different reasons through a process called fortification. These are both found naturally in milk, though. Vitamin A has been added since the 1940s. This is to replace what is lost during the fat removal or skimming process that takes out the fat and vitamins incidentally. Vitamin A aids against night blindness and helps your skin and immune system. Vitamin D has been added since the 1930s to aid against something called rickets. The amount of vitamin D found naturally in milk is actually not enough to meet your daily intake requirements. When your body is deficient in vitamin D, especially children, your bones can soften due to rickets, and this can lead to broken bones, mobility issues, and even deformities if you're still growing. It's important to know rickets is classified as a disease because of how it operates, but it's more like a condition because it can be taken care of by enough regular vitamin D intake. This feels like a good point to let you know I'm not a doctor. This is just stuff I found during my very exciting milk research. I have my sources listed below, so moving forward, just keep that in mind. Lastly, the carbohydrates. The main carb found in milk is a sugar made of glucose and galactose called lactose. Lactose makes up around 5% total of cow's milk, with a variation depending on what kind of milk you're drinking. Different skimming processes leave different amounts of that remaining 13% there. Before starting this video, the only thing that I could tell you with certainty milk had was lactose. I had no idea what it actually was or why some people couldn't consume it, which led to me learning about how it affects. When babies are, well, babies, they can only drink breast milk or formula, right? I would hope you know this already. If you're learning this for the first time, please do not have children. Located in the small intestine, your body produces an enzyme called lactase. This breaks down the lactose from milk into its sugar components, glucose and galactose. The body then uses these for energy so you can grow up to disappoint your parents. You, me, and little baby animals. This is your reward for getting through the nutrition segment. Look at that guy. Use these enzymes to produce lactose, and by extension milk, our whole lives, at least theoretically. This is where the root cause of lactose intolerance rears its ugly ice cream and cheese hating head. When you stop drinking breast milk as a baby, your body gets used to eating other things like nugget, pizza, and apple pie. The body gradually slows down the enzyme production in your gut responsible for milk breakdown, and it's just downhill from there. After your body stops or slows down lactase production, it'll be broken down by your gut bacteria, and this is what leads to the bloating, gas, and diarrhea. I also wanted to tell you I spelled diarrhea correctly on the script on my first try. That was pretty cool. In adults, about 36% have something called lactose malabsorption, which directly leads to lactose intolerance. The bumpy road from happy milk drinker to sad milk tummy hurdy guy has a lot to do with your genetics. Some people are way more predisposed to become God, to become unable to break down lactose sooner compared to others. Not so fun fact, if you are Hispanic, Asian, Native American, or African American, you are more likely to become lactose intolerant. This may be because of cattle diseases and bad geography for cows in different areas, and that means some cultures rarely consumed milk after early development. This makes it more of a genetic thing from older times, but this is more speculation than anything else. So that's it. No more ice cream, cheese, frozen yogurt, regular yogurt. Me and you are toast, right, buddy? Statistically speaking, I mean. Well, I saw something that brought me a bit of hope, sent me on a rabbit hole towards. My brother has been lactose intolerant for years, and he takes these pills, this is what they look like, before he eats anything dairy heavy to minimize the effects of it. These pills are lactase supplements that give your body the enzymes needed to break down the lactose from dairy products. But you then have to plan out your evening eating, and take pills based on if you feel like drinking chalky milk this evening or not. And if you run out, no cheese, no pizza, no ice cream, you get pickled herring. It's disgusting. What would be ideal is if you could start up that lactase production again so that you were just a dairy eating organism with no tummy problems. So I was doing my research when I found this video by HG Modernism. It was like opening up that present you wanted for months leading up to Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever. It was euphoric, is what I'm saying. I highly recommend you go and watch it, but the idea I took away from it is that you can do something about your lactose intolerance. The video goes over how if you drink enough milk, i.e., powdered concentrate milk, gross, you can eventually train your body to react less harshly and even quote unquote cure yourself, those are my words, of the negative symptoms through repeatedly consuming lactose. But how is that possible? Well, to pop that balloon now, there is little to nothing showing that you can start lactase production or increase it once it's already declined. What you can do, however, is change your gut biome to allow it to pass through with minimal negative effects. To do this, it is recommended to start with 1 cup or so a day, like in your Cookie Crisp or Cocoa Pebbles or with your dinner. 1 cup is what the average adult can get away with consuming, this being of skim or low-fat milks. Some people will have to start with about 1/4 cup, but either way, the idea is to not put too much stress on your gut. You should also have it with something else so as to not put too much strain on your gut by diluting the dairy with some other foods, making it easier to process. From there, you can gradually increase the amount you consume daily, and in theory, after a while, you can just eat whatever and be fine. Yippee! The key here, though, is consistency. Your gut biome is used to whatever you eat regularly enough, and if it's been a while since you had any, or if you've just been eating whatever you want up to this point and dealing with the consequences, you might need to change up your diet a bit. And just to double over it again, I am not a medical professional. I'm an idiot with free time, so do this at your own discretion. All of this said, enjoy a nice banana split while we go over our next chapter. So we've talked about what milk is, why it hurts you, and how you can mitigate some of the risks associated with getting these mozzarella sticks here at Applebee's. But how does all this dairy get to you? The cheesemakers, the ice cream makers, your local Walmart? Well, there were approximately 24,470 farms in the U.S. as of 2022. 88% of these were dairy farms that produced 98% of the milk sold in the U.S., ending in a total of $5.2 billion. California, Wisconsin, New York, Idaho, and Texas together produced over half of all that milk sold. But herein lies the problem. These are the numbers from 2022, which is a 39%, and I can't believe that, 39% decline from all milk sold from farms in the U.S. since 2017. There are a few reasons for the declining dairy industry. Larger corporations are buying out smaller farms. The amount of people in younger generations are consuming less dairy and going with lactose-free alternatives such as nut milk. And things like feed costs have made it very difficult for small to medium-sized farms to survive. Investment firms like Cascade Investment, they're being used by billionaires like Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, and others to purchase farming land and expand their empires. Companies like TIAA-CREF, Hancock, Agricultural Investment Group, and Gladstone Land Corporation are buying up small farms and available land as well. Think about it like this. If you live in an area with available rentals that have had an unstable economic value lately, it's often property management companies ramping up the prices of the properties that they buy to rent, and this makes it so that the barrier to entry is higher for you and me. Everyone has to also raise their prices, and it trickles down to how much money you have left after rent and utilities, how far your dollar goes when it comes to buying something like groceries, and the only people left winning are these blood-sucking companies who gouge us. The same thing is happening to the dairy industry. Land is being bought up by these companies and corporations that are milking it for everything they can get. I'm sorry. Smaller farmers cannot keep up with the property demands anymore. On the other hand, younger generations like Gen Z are consuming about 20% less milk than previous generations, due to the growing idea that it causes acne and skin conditions. There's probably some truth to that, as well as the growing cultural conscience about how farm animals are treated. So the amount of milk needed is going down as well with time. After a while, this is my opinion, I believe that the market will keep shrinking and the small dairy farmers will be pushed out. With less need means less production of milk needed, meaning less competition in the market that these corporations have already cornered anyways, so it's going downhill pretty quick. It's sort of depressing. How's that banana split? Probably a little less sweet. That's my bad. Let's talk about. Okay, so this is the tension-breaking fun fact segment. I'm just going to ramble off some fun milk-specific facts that I found just surfing the web. We've only been regularly milking cows and consuming their babies' vital nutrients for about 10,000 years, which, if you don't know, is actually really, really recent in human history. The phenomenon of keeping your lactase enzymes into adulthood is called lactase persistence, and it's also a relatively new thing. Everyone used to just lose the enzymes after they stopped breastfeeding. You are more likely genetically to keep this if you are a European, Middle Eastern, or from some places in Africa. There are 6 breeds of dairy cows. These include the Holstein, Guernsey, Brown Swiss, Jersey, Ayrshire, and Shorthorn. I got this directly from a Dairy Fun Facts PDF, so I could be pronouncing them wrong, but I don't think the cows will give a shit, so be mad. Cows are pregnant for about 9 months, just like humans. It takes between 5 to 7 minutes for a cow to be milked, and they are milked 2 to 3 times per day. The average U.S. dairy cow produces about 8 gallons of milk per day. Now that I've said that, the farmers measure milk in pounds, not gallons. So I'm wrong. I think that's all the milk residue I can handle. Being that this is my first video on the channel, please let me know what you thought and if you have any ideas for improvements. This was just something that's been rattling around in my brain for a while, and I needed to get it out. If this performs anywhere near decent, I'll put more time into video making, but I just had fun making something, so if you'd like more, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and send this to that special heifer in your life. All right, until next time, friends, take care.